Hello everyone, Paul Kittner, Township Engineer, Director of Public Works. I'm accompanied by Ed Huss of Matrix Environmental. We're here to perform a virtual tour of our DPW facility, specifically for the removal of our underground storage tanks. Due to the COVID-19, we appreciate everyone's understanding. The Township is obviously very interested in getting this work done, and we appreciate everyone's efforts to make this happen. So the work consists of two 10,000-gallon fuel tanks and a 6,000-gallon fuel tank, which we're going to detail in a second. It also includes the removal of a wash building, which you can see in the picture on the left. The wash building's foundation on the left. We have a fueling canopy, which is in front of you. The actual fueling pumps will be removed. All the lines and appurtenances will be removed. There's a fuel master station which will be reused with the new system. We have excavation of the underground storage tanks, the concrete slab that's on top of them, that will all be removed. Everything will be backfilled with DGA in accordance with the plans. In the event there's any discrepancy in the field survey, I would defer to the plans for accuracy. And in a second, I'm going to have Ed go through each of the individual components. There's also a component in our DPW facility, which includes an electric panel, which will need to be considered for some of the disconnects.
One of the things we're going to do now is go through some of the key bid dates. The bid is still due on April 15th at 11 a.m. We do encourage everybody, because of the COVID situation, to get their sealed bids in at least 24 hours prior to that date because of potential issues with the mailing system at this time. One key date is April 5th. We're looking to get everybody's questions by April 5th so that we can respond with addenda. Those addendas will be sent automatically to everyone who has downloaded and registered for the bidding documents with the townships, through the township's website. And then we're going to try to respond, Q&A, answers to those questions by April 8th. We do want to try and award this bid as soon as possible in April, about the third week in April, and to try and get this work going forward. What this project entails, it really entails a successful contractor to bring together a number of different trades and professional services. We're going to go through those a little bit in detail. One, obviously, the main project with the underground storage tank removal. These are NJDEP regulated tanks, so we need NJDEP certified UST closure licensed individuals, and their firm has to be licensed. There's also going to be a requirement for asbestos abatement. There is asbestos detected in the wash building and the wash building roofing area. Licensed electrician, we're going to get into the electrical that needs to be rerouted. Licensed plumber. There's underground natural gas lines that will have to be addressed, and any other professional or licensed services. There may be a need for structural support. Will require a professional engineer licensed in the state of New Jersey for any proposed structural support plans, and also an A901 license for the disposal stream. Concerns here on this project is removing the tanks, and we have a major electrical utility embankment, which also includes a fiber optic cable that runs from this pole here underground right adjacent to the tank. You should be able to see this pretty clearly on the plans, and you can see that this electrical trench runs right next to the tank field, right beneath the emergency on-site generator. That generator will stay, that support pad will stay, and then runs in the main electrical panel room inside the DPW's facility. So as these tanks are pulled, you can see how close they are to this underground utility embankment. They'll have to be supported, they'll have to be addressed, so we're looking for, what's a creative solution to address that. Do they have to be sheeted? Are we going to use lagging with tiebacks? That's where we're looking for the contractors to come up with some sort of solution to be able to support and that utility embankment, but at the same time remove the tanks. Okay, one of the things we want to showcase here now as well is the electrical overhead situation with this area. You can see that the electrical wiring comes out of the main interior electrical panel inside the facility and comes overhead to the wash building. Okay, that electrical actually powers the DPW's trash compactor and their electrical gate. Okay, so one of the things we need the contractor to do is to reroute that electrical along the face of the building and then bring it down underground and reconnect it to the compactor and to the electrical gate to allow entry to the facility. Okay, now we're inside the wash building itself, and as you can see, there's a tremendous amount of utilities inside this building that will be disconnected prior to the demolition of this wash building. You can see here all the electrical and sensing equipment for the underground tank systems in here. There's actually also a natural gas pipe that comes from the building, the main DPW building, to the wash shed, and it powers these heaters that are inside this building here. So that'll have to be disconnected by a licensed plumber. Again, all that electric stuff needs to be removed, and we mentioned two electrical items that will need to be rerouted, the trash compactor and the main fence gate. There is also universal hazardous waste in here. The township is going to qualify as a conditionally exempt generator. We think, and you can refer to the hazmat report that's included in the appendices. We think we have 2 oil-containing garage door motors, 16 assumed mercury vapor containing fluorescent lights, 2 Freon containing air conditioner units, 1 Freon containing refrigerator unit, and 8 assumed PCB containing ballast lights inside this building that the contractor will have to dispose of as a universal waste. Now we're outside taking a look at the exterior, and you can note the electrical line that we've been talking about that runs overhead to the wash building that's going to have to be disconnected. Now we envision, and we show on the plans, that electric then running in a conduit across the surface of across the face of the building, okay, where it would come up top and then come underground and run now back over to here, where we would want to pick up the electrical that runs to this compactor so we can keep the compactor powered. You'll see on the plans there's also a electrical panel that would be installed here with bollards, so that new underground electric that would be run to it would be able to be connected to the compactor. And then you can see here, then it would also run a component of that electric would run overhead, and then be run to the fence, so we can still power the fence gate there. Now we've got this view here. We can see that the electrical that runs underground from the wash building actually comes through the wall. This is the base of the trash compactor for the facility. And as that electric is rerouted now underground, that penetration would come through the wall and connect to where we propose the electrical panel. So that should give you a view of that connection that the contractor would have to pick up. Now we're taking a view of the overhead electric that runs from the wash building, that again is going to have to be rerouted underground and then brought up this pole so that it can be brought to the main fence gate here. And you can kind of see how this electrical, overhead electric will be run by the contractor and repowered here back into the fence gate for the facility. Just kind of go around here and take a look at the way the electric comes down behind the pole here. Now we're taking another angle from the DPW building towards the wash shed, and here you can see the main electrical trench that houses a number of different electrical conduits that are going to have to be disconnected by the contractor. We have the natural gas line we talked about that feeds the heaters inside the wash building. We have an air line, we have water lines, we have all of the electrical and sense equipment for the underground storage tank system. All these are going to be disconnected properly and cut and capped by the contractor. Okay, just pointing out a couple other items here. There's 3 different cameras on this building. We'll have the contractor disconnect and salvage those cameras to be provided to the township. Just another angle here of the wash building at this side. You'll see on the contract plans we would like everything fenced off, but we would need to leave this driveway open. So this is where really the edge of your fence line will run up to the sidewalk of the building. It'll then run all the way along the building to give the contractor, his work area.
Okay, we're just looking at some of the electric panels in the building. Some of the disconnects will occur here, and some of the power for the gate and the compactor will also originate from these panels. So this is just to illustrate the location. It's inside the building. Directly outside the building is the wash building and fueling pumps.
So just want to take a quick walk through the bid form and some of the key items there, and just a walk through that. You see the bid forms now should be up on the screen, and you can kind of follow along. So first line item, mobilization, self-explanatory, your equipment mobilization costs. Second is your contractor documentation. So in here we're looking for things like your as-built, your red line of the contract documents, your health and safety plan, your submittals, your tank closure plans, any excavation support or your professional engineer support plan, disposal documentation, etc. On to bid line item 3. This is the clearing line item. So bid form line item 3, clearing. We talked about all the underground utilities that have to be capped and removed. The safety fencing, protection of the public, salvaging all the different things we talked about, the card reader, cameras, things like that. Something important is obviously locating these utilities, hand digging, GPR, ground penetrator, or whatever the contractor deems necessary to verify all these underground utilities and structures and tanks for yourselves, right? Including that dust control. We need to have dust control on this site. We need to have vapor control on this site. So these are some of the items that would be included in the clearing line item. Line item 4, the soil erosion measures. We're gonna protect the storm basins, keep our soil piles covered, and we calculate we're less than a soil erosion permit's not required because the disturbance is minimized. Line item 5, the DGA backfill. We don't want any settling here. We're including in the DGA backfill. That's based on a per ton. That's one item that's a per ton. You're going to get paid based on the weight tickets alone. We are requiring 95% proctor and compaction and 6-inch lifts on all that backfilling. Line item 6 is repaving all the pavement. Once everything is removed, we're going to have the contractor repave the area. Line item 7 is all the UST decommissioning and tank removal work. Any structural support that's required for the utilities and any structures that need to be protected. Line item 8, that's the vehicle wash building, the demolition of the vehicle wash building, everything that goes with that. Line item 9, the asbestos abatement work. We talked about that. We do have asbestos in the mastic seams of the wash building. There's a lot of information in the hazmat report from the sampling that was done on that wash building. The air sampling for the asbestos work will be done by others. The contractor will not have to do that air sampling work. Line item 10, that's the Canopy Demo itself, pretty self-explanatory. Line item 11, rerouting the electrical circuits. We talked about having to reroute the overhead electric along the building frontage, then taking that electric underground to the newly proposed electrical panel system, where it will power the trash compactor and the electric gate for the facility. Soil disposal, line item 12, that's based on a per ton basis as well. Again, you'll be paid on weight tickets on a per ton basis there. Any contaminated soil that's deemed contaminated and not suitable for reuse, that material we want in dumpsters. We want to keep the site clean. We don't want to sheen across the site. Any impacted material will be placed in dumpsters. Line item 13 and 14. So that's the concrete disposal. We're going to be doing sampling of the concrete. It may or may not be impacted. If it's not impacted, it'll be able to be recycled at a Class B facility. If it is impacted, it'll have to be disposed of separately as a solid waste. So we're asking for pricing for both options because we don't yet have that data. That data will be provided once we have it. Line item 15, the UST contents. The department's going to pump down the tanks to the degree possible, and disposal of those tank contents, diesel fuel and the gasoline fuel, will be based on a per gallon basis, along with any rinsate from the rinsing of the tanks for the clean out. Line item 16 is the impact of groundwater. In order to facilitate this post-excavation sampling work, we need to collect closure samples underneath the tank. We may do some dewatering depending on how much groundwater is in there, and that'll be on a per gallon basis for that impacted groundwater from the diesel fuel and gasoline. And then finally, line item 17 is the asphalt disposal. The asphalt to be disposed of again on a per ton basis, so we'll need weight tickets for that payment item. And that's it on the bid items. Also, something very important to bring to your attention is that there is a hard deadline to remove these tanks and restore this site. There is a 75-day completion from award, in which case liquid damages could be assessed, and then we have 60 days for substantial completion. This is something that's very important to the township to be able to get this closed out and get these tanks removed.
What is the liquidated damages, Ed?
It's $1,000 per day.
Okay, thank you. I just would like to thank everyone. This concludes our virtual tour. You have my email in the bid specs that you've downloaded if you have any questions. Thank you very much for your time.